Okay, welcome to the Photoshop CS3 Basic Color Correction tutorial. My name is Skylar, and today I'm going to be showing you how to basically color correct your photo. Very easy, quick, and fast. Alright, so what I got here is a guy smoking a cigarette. It's a photo of a guy smoking a cigarette. And he's sideways right now, so what I'm going to do to adjust that is go to Image, Rotate Canvas, and rotate them 90 degrees clockwise. It's going to be thinking because I'm on a slow computer. Just while I was thinking real quick, I wanted to let you know that I am on a Mac, so I'm going to be saying Command or Apple, and then the letter for the hotkey. But if you're on a PC, just press Control and whatever I say for the hotkey. Okay, so here's my image. To move the image around the palette here, you just press spacebar and click and drag the mouse. Okay, so anyways, here's my image. And like I said, it's a guy smoking. It's actually me smoking a cigarette. And anyways, so we're gonna first things first. We're gonna use levels to get our white, gray, and black points adjusted here. So what I'm going to do to get the levels to come up is press Command, or if you're on a PC, again, Control L. And there you go, you have your levels palette up. And if you want to just get that to without the hotkeys, you can go to Image, Adjustment, and then go to Levels here. There you go. You can see levels, you can see curves, and you can see hue and saturation. Those are the three basic ones we're going to be using today. So once again, Command L brings levels up. And here you have a histogram of the colors in your photo. And on this histogram, real quick, on this left-hand side is this little slider here, and that is the black points. And in the middle you have the mid-tones, and it's the grays. And you can slide that to left and right. And here you have, on the total far right hand side, is the white slider, and that makes the image brighter or darker. Anyways, what we're going to be concerned with about today is these three eyedroppers right here, and let me move this down, this RGB scale right here. Now, to get to that RGB scale, I should have told you that before I opened the palette. On the cancel the levels, here's what typically shows up if you just got Photoshop. It's this little mini preview of your image, which is kind of useless. You also have this histogram, which shows you basically what level shows you. And then you have the info. Well, click on the info and you get the RGBs. And you notice if you move around the image, those numbers change. Well, so this is what we're going to be concerned about. So if you go Command L again, bring up the levels, and click on, like say, the black points, which is to the far left eyedropper right here. You click on that and it's highlighted, and then you move to something black in your image, like say his jacket. Okay, so this guy's jacket is black, and you can tell it's black because these numbers right here are within 0 to 10, all three of them. 0 to 10, maybe 0 to 20. But somewhere on the low scale of numbers, 0 to say 30. So if the R, G, and B are all 0 to 30, then you're good. Click on it and it'll turn it black. Wha-bam. There it is, black. Okay, and you can see the histogram changed. And now we're going to go to the gray points, which is in the middle. So if you click on the gray points, it highlights it. You move your little eyedropper over to something that looks gray. Good luck, because a lot of images, it's really hard to find a gray point. Okay, now, if you notice the numbers over here have changed. If you go to something that is truly gray, it'll change to something around 110 to 120. If you get all your R, G, and B numbers within those in that spectrum of 100 to 120, I guess, you can go ahead and click on it and you can see your image change again. Now the whites will look whiter and the grays will look grayer. Okay, and your histogram once again changes and it gets even more correct. And then you can go to the far right hand eyedropper, and that's your white point. Now you find something white in your image. And you can tell it's white in your image because, again, these RGB numbers will be around 240 to 255. Anywhere in the high 200s is good. You click on it and it turns it white. And well, bam, your image changed again, and you notice your histogram gets this nice, kind of looks like a really weird comb with teeth, with a bunch of little teeth, and that's exactly what you want it to look like. Now if you want to do further adjustments, you can move these sliders and make it darker or lighter. Make your shadows darker and your highlights lighter. But we're not going to concern ourselves with that because we're going to do it in curves. So you can preview what you did by pressing the little preview. As you can see, it dramatically changed just by pushing the black, gray, and white points. And we're going to click OK, and we're going to go to curves. The way you get to curves, again, like I said, go to Image, Adjustment, Curves, or you can press Command or Control M. And that brings up the curves palette. Now, on the curves palette, there's three things really to notice. You have your black, gray, and white eyedroppers down here, so you could technically do it all from curves if you wanted to. And you have this little channel, and it says RGB. If you click on it, it says red, green, and blue. So that means you can independently affect each color separately. But we're going to concern ourselves with the RGB since this is a basic tutorial. The RGB is going to affect all the colors together. And this line is going to be what does that. So if you click on the line, and I like to start with my midtones, my grays. So I click on the middle and you drag it up. Since this image is a little dark and I want it to be more bright, I'm going to drag it up towards the left hand side of the first box on the grid. And maybe actually it's a little too bright, so I'm going to go somewhere in the middle. So now you have this nice bell-shaped curve just by selecting the midpoints. So now the midtones are all nice and fixed. I'm going to go to the shadows, and I'm going to select, the shadows are at the bottom right hand corner, or bottom left hand corner, excuse me, the bottom left hand corner of the curves grid. And I'm going to click and drag back to about center of where that line was. You can see the image change why I did that. Okay, the top right hand quadrant of the grid is the highlights. Now you can click, if they're a little too bright, you can click and drag it back to the center. If it's not bright enough, you can move it up. Well, for this image, I'm going to click it and drag it back to the center because I think my highlights are a little too bright. And boom, now I have a nice kind of little S-curve going on here. If you want your image to be a little bit darker, maybe it was too bright to begin with, you could do the opposite of what I just did and drag the midtones down, and that makes it darker. Or just keep it the way I have it because that's what's good for this image. Okay, now you can click preview and see what you did. Oh, it looks a lot more contrasty, much nicer. It's amazing. And you just click OK, and there you go. So there's the curves.